Howdy, Legendary Void here, and today we're going to be doing a deck tag on the Insecticons deck that my sister played the other day against my Tanks deck. We will be discussing the Tanks deck too in another video, but today we'll be discussing this orange heavy deck that is absolutely OP. So first off, right off the bat, we're going to be talking about their leader, Scrapnel. In alt mode, he has 4 attack, 7 health, 3 defense. He's a leader Insecticon and melee as a 7-star. And when you flip to this mode, you may KO one of your Insecticons if you do tap an enemy that has 13 stars or fewer. That effect doesn't really come into play all that often. I mean, it might be used to, I don't know, KO one of your guys that was already going to be dead so you can keep someone else alive. It doesn't come into play all that often, but the 3 defense for a 7 cost is absolutely phenomenal. The 7 health kind of sucks, but the bot mode skill really kind of negates the 7 health anyway. So in bot mode, it is leader Insecticon melee again. It has 5 attack, 7 health, 0 defense, but it can't take more than 3 attack damage from a single attack. Really good. It's a built-in force field that essentially lets you take less damage, and it doesn't only happen once. Whereas force field would only let you take 4. This lets you take 3. It's such a good card. It's probably going to be one of the first cards you flip and attack with at the beginning of the game, seeing as they can't really get past this barrier in literally any way. And to my knowledge, I believe Pierce is even blocked by this. So, it's really good effect. There's Scrapnel. The next character that we use is Kickback. He has 3 attack, 9 health, 1 defense. When this damages an enemy, repair 1 damage from one of your Insecticons. This effect doesn't really happen that much. He's mainly used for his bot mode skill. He's a 5-star, which is really good. It's cheap, fits in the deck really well. He's a melee Insecticon. But in bot mode, he has 0 attack, which sucks. 9 health, 1 defense, but his skill makes up for everything, seeing as when this is attacking, you flip 2 more battle cards for each other Insecticon you began the game with. You're starting with 4 Insecticons, so essentially right off the gate, you're flipping 8 cards, because it's for each other, so you'd be doing him and the other 2 characters, which is 6, plus the initial 2, and whatever white pips, you can get up to 10, which is absolutely insane, including whatever else bold you have through what the deck plays, but it gets crazy sometimes. And even if he starts base 0 attack, it gets crazy high sometimes, and that's phenomenal, especially for a 5 cost. But yeah, he's a great addition to this deck. We're also playing Ransack. He's an Insecticon melee in alt mode. 3 attack, 8 health, 2 defense. When he flipped to this move 2 damage from one of your other characters to this one. His alt mode skill really improves his bot mode skill, which says that he has attack equal to the number of damage counters on him. And since you're moving damage from your other characters over to him, you're going to be having more damage stacked up on him. And if you can get up to 7, he has a base 7 attack and 3 defense, which is great for a 6 cost. He's ranged, which I don't think that matters too much. I think you can just play like marksmanship or something with him, but that's not that big a deal because you're going to be wanting to get as much damage on him as possible, either by KOing him and then I still functioning, or just moving damage with his alt mode skill. But if you can do that, you have insane attack values, and it's just crazy sometimes, man. And our last character is Barrage. In alt mode, he has 3 attack, 11 health, 2 defense. And when you flip to this mode, one of your characters gets Pierce 2. This doesn't really matter all that much because you're running so much orange to the point that you're probably going to be doing more than 2 damage every turn. But sometimes it can really help if you're playing something like playing against something like Tanks, or just something really heavy in blue like Menasor. And then Barrage's bot mode has 5 attack, 11 health, 1 defense. He is also ranged here. And when this is attacking a damaged enemy, he has bold 2. Busted effect, because you're going to be having so much damage on your opponent anyway, like spread all across the board through all of these other guys, that he'll basically have bold 2 every turn. And if you play it right, he'll be your main KOer, which is fantastic. And I don't think KO is a word, but I'm going to make it a word now. So, yeah. And this does equal 25 stars, so there are no star cards being played here. Unfortunately, otherwise I'd probably run something like Leap of Faith. I chose not to run Chop Shot because I can't find a good purpose for him, honestly, at the moment. I want to use him, but so far, no good luck with that. Our first action is Peace Through Tyranny. Double orange card. I run 2 of them. I would run 3 if I own 3, but I only own 2, so that's unfortunate. You may KO one of your characters that is 6 stars or more, and if you do, take an extra turn after this one. You'll probably not really use this effect for the effect of this card for, what it does. You're going to use it for the orange pips, but sometimes it can be good to KO something like Ransack, so you can I still function them the next turn. But it's not that great a card for the effect, but we mainly use it for the 2 orange pips, which definitely helps a deck like this. And a card that I just mentioned, we played 2 I Still Functions. We run 2 of these because you're going to be wanting to bring back a lot of your characters. Like, even just 1 I Still Function to Kickback or Ransack can really turn the tide of the game if you're losing pretty badly. But, like, if you're able to attack for an insane amount of damage from someone like Ransack, who's got a base 7, if you bring him back, it gets crazy sometimes. And I was a little worried about playing 2 copies of this with no icon right here, but I definitely feel it's worth it if you're able to pull this off more frequently and pull some crazy stunts on your opponent. We also playing 3 Supercharge, gives you bolt 3 until the end of the turn, just one of your characters. Orange Pip, fantastic damage acceleration. So we're running 3 of these because it's such a great offensive card. We're also running 2 Swarm. I would run 3, but I don't have a third one. Flip a battle card for each Insecticon you begin the game with, which in this case would be 4. For each orange you flip, your opponent chooses one of their characters and does 1 damage to it. And then for each blue you flip, repair 1 damage from one of your characters. I don't run any blue in this deck. It's purely orange. So essentially, if you don't flip any whites, you can get a ton of damage on your opponent for essentially free. I guess the cost of your action, but it's great. It's a fantastic way to dish out damage to your opponent. And if you flip a double orange pip, that's just extra damage added onto it. And I love playing that card, especially with 4 white Insecticons, so we're running 2 of those. We're also running 2 copies of Rapid Conversion. Flip one of your characters into its other mode. This is just so you can pull off cool tricks with Ransack's alt mode ability, and sometimes even Scrap Mill's ability if you really need to KO someone. But I run 2 of the. I would run 3, but I just didn't really find a space for it because you're not going to be flipping all of that often. So we're just running 2 of those, mainly for the white pips, to be honest. And since so many of these cards are just one-time uses, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Work Overtime. If you have fewer than 4 cards in your hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So essentially, if you have 1 card in your hand, you'll draw 3 to get up to 4. Fantastic draw support, probably the best we have in the game right now. It's white pip, so flip 2 more battle icons when battling. Great card. I might just buy another Devastator box just to get 3 more of these, honestly, because these are the only 3 I own. So, yeah, we run 3 of those just because of how fantastic it is and how quickly you get rid of stuff out of your hand. So, definitely going to need a bigger hand. We run 2 copies of Treasure Hunt. Scrap the top 4 cards of your deck and put all upgrades scrap this way into your hand. Great way of grabbing grenade launchers, force fields, any way of just dishing out more damage and keeping your guys alive. We're running 2 of them because I didn't feel like a third one was absolutely necessary since you're already drawing a lot with Work Overtime and other stuff like that. So we're just running 2 of those. And this is just a fun card I decided to test out in this deck. I'm running 3 copies of Focus Fire, which says for each Focus Fire you've played this turn, one of your characters gets bold 1, and then you can play another Focus Fire. They have green pips and an orange icon. So essentially, if you're able to play all 3 in 1 turn, I believe if my math checks out, one of your characters gets bold 6 until the end of turn. Absolutely insane. If you can pull this off, give Kickback even more cards to flip. You just absolutely martyr whoever the heck you're attacking, and it's fantastic whenever you pull that off. So I run that just for the fun of it. You can replace it with whatever you want, but I love Focus Fire. I'll probably put it in more lists. We also have 2 copies of Swindle, draw 2 cards and scrap 2. If you begin the game with only Decepticons, which we do, you may play an upgrade, and there's a lot of useful upgrades in this deck like grenade launchers, force fields, data pads, that kind of thing. Also, it's semi-decent draw support. You essentially just have the same hand size after it's played, if and less if you decide to actually play the upgrade. For that reason, we're only running 2, but it is great if you're wanting to pull some awesome stunts with like grenade launcher, force field, data pad, that kind of thing. And the last action we have is 2 copies of ramming speed, scrap an enemy upgrade. This is definitely going to be useful against things like Menasor, which of course has Stunticon swagger, and golly, that card's annoying. You can probably run 3 of these by essentially swapping out whatever you want, but whether it be treasure hunt or something else. But I thought 2 ramming speed was probably good because you have a lot of draw acceleration anyway, and it's pretty easy to draw into one of these. So we're only running 2, and that's all of the actions. Our first weapon, of course, 3 copies of grenade launcher. +4 attack, orange pip. After the upgraded character attacks, scrap this card. Such a good card, man. Such a fantastic card. +4 attack. It's game changing. Literally every time you play it, it gets you to insane heights of damage. Whether it be like upwards of 15, 20. It gets insane sometimes. So we're running 3 of those. +4 attack is fantastic. It's unfortunate you have to scrap it, but well, what can you do? It's too OP as it is. It's understandable. We run 2 copies of Erratic Lightning, +3 attack, -1 defense, covering up the 1. There we go. Characters' defense can't go below 1. I thought this was a pretty good card to run on something like Scrapnel, who already has 0 defense anyway, or Cakeback, who has 1. Defending isn't even that big a deal in this deck since there are no blue cards, so -1 defense doesn't hurt that much, I'd say. So I'm running 2 of those, but it can affect sometimes, so I'm not running 3. And the last weapon we're running is 1 copy of Flamethrower. I couldn't really find space to add 1 more of these, otherwise I would have, but Bold 2 is pretty standard, just let you deal more damage. Yeah. There we go. That's all of the weapons. On to the armors, which we will start off with 3 copies of Force Field. If the upgraded character would take 5 or more damage, instead they'd take 4 and you scrap the Force Field. Great way to keep your guys alive, especially in a deck with no blues. It's definitely made to be put in orange decks, I'd say. Maybe not so much blue decks, but you definitely can run it in blue decks, just a little sparingly, I'd say. But Force Field, great way to keep your guys alive. And if you're able to play 2 back-to-back, Cakeback won't die in less than 2 hits. No, less than 3 hits, yeah. Because he's got 9 health, so they'd have to hit him 3 times at the very most. No, at the least. Yeah, at the least. Yeah, because I can math. Anyway, the next armor we are running is 2 copies of Bashing Shield, orange green pip, and when you put this on a character you can scrap an enemy armor. Great effect, getting rid of your opponent's force fields, their blast shields, evasive maneuvers, reinforced platings, anything that essentially prohibits you from dealing as much damage as you possibly can. We're only running 2 of these because green pips are easily obtainable into your hand, and the third one's not exactly the most necessary in the world. And the last armor we're running is, of course, Improvised Shield. We're running 3 copies of those. They all have tough 1. Pointless because you don't have any blue, so there's no point in essentially using it for that effect. Just for the double orange, of course, which is super valuable. And yeah, that's all of the armors. And there is only 1 form of utility in this deck, and it's 3 copies of Datapad. This is a great way to draw, essentially, because whenever you attack, draw a card, then you may put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Essentially, draw 1 plan once you attack, and then you can just keep it in your hand. So essentially, every time you attack, you draw a card. Really great way to either get double orange pips out of your hand or just draw cards in your hand that you desperately need at some point. So we're running 3 of those just because of how much I love this card. Even if it's a common, I think it's one of the better commons in the game right now. Yeah, and that's the deck. How'd you guys like it? There are probably a lot of errors in here that I could probably take out. Let me know in the comments below. I will definitely take it into consideration. But yeah, I really like this deck list. I probably will be playing it again in the future. Maybe not this specific list, but something similar. But I really, really like this, and I can really understand why Insecticons is one of the most powerful decks in the game right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to whack that like and subscribe button, and have a phenomenal day. Peace.